Hey, precious people, how is everyone doing today? Yesterday was the 2nd of November. It was supposed to be. It was my last baby's birthday. He turned 3 yesterday, and I promised God something, that I would do this every year to thank him and to tell of his goodness, his kindness, and his mercy for what he did for me, because yesterday was also my 3rd year anniversary when God gave me a second lease on life. Meanwhile, as I'm talking to you right now, I had to go drop my children at school, but my baby is sick. So I was like, how am I celebrating a birthday, but my baby is sick? He can't even, breathe, and I'm having to take him to the hospital and let's really know what's going on. But in the midst of this pain, in the midst of this confusion, I am also trusting and believing that God is in control. And no matter what we go through in life, when we make a covenant, when we promise somebody or we promise God something, we have to live up to our own end of the bargain. Because I promised God that I will tell the world of how he saved me from the delivery table, how he delivered me from the delivery table. And I will always sing him a song. And today I just want to say, oh God, you are who you are yesterday, today, and forevermore. What you say is what you do. You never fail, you never change. You were faithful till the end. Faithful God, I worship you. I worship you, 'cause you are, Lord, too faithful to fail me. Oh Jesus, you're too committed to leave us halfway. You've proven yourself in our life, and we've come to realize you're too faithful to fail me. You're too faithful to fail me. Oh Jesus, you're too committed to leave me halfway. What you start, you always finish. Oh Lord, I'm here to testify. You're too faithful to fail me. Too faithful to fail me. I am thanking God. It's my birthday. It's my 3rd birthday. All through my pregnancy, for my first babies, I've always had, trying pregnancies. My womb can hold children, miscarriages, spotting, bleeding, ruptured placenta. When I got pregnant for this 3rd baby, it was hard. And the doctor already told my husband and I that we shouldn't be having more children, because my womb just couldn't hold my kids in. With every pregnancy, I'll stay in bed for 3 months. 3 whole months, I'll be in bed, and the doctor will tell me, this is not even assured that your baby will stay in your womb. But let us do everything we can to make sure that you can have every rest to keep this baby inside and grow this baby to at least beginning of your 3rd trimester. But God, in all through everything that goes on when I'm pregnant, I will always deliver. But with my 3rd baby, I went to work. With this baby, I went to work and I was okay. The next day, I took my children to school. While I was standing right there, to take them put them into the car, I felt a gush. And I looked down in between my legs and I was bleeding. And I said, oh my God. And I rushed inside. I took a paper towel on the kitchen table and I tried to pad myself. But my children were already getting into the car. I did what any mother would do. I took them to school. I told my mother-in-law that stays with me, I said, Mommy, see what is going on. Please pray. I took my children to school. On the way to school, I was bleeding. I called my job. I told them, look, I am bleeding right now. And I just found out that I was pregnant. I was 9 weeks pregnant. So it's most likely I am miscarrying. So they told me, okay, let's go to the hospital. I called my husband. I took my children to school. I drove back home. You know, I put a pad on, and then I called my husband. And as God may have it, my husband also works in the same hospital where I deliver my children. So I called him. I said, honey, he said, baby, this is what is going on. And my husband said, okay, do I call the ambulance? Do I call the EMT? I said, no, I think I can drive. It was grace. I drove. I said, because I can't wait for you to drive all the way down and then pick me up. I will just find a way to drive to the hospital. So I drove to the hospital, and he was already with the stretcher. They were waiting for me right there at the beginning of the ER, the emergency clinic. So they rushed me, you know, they put me in, and they checked me, and they said, okay, you are pregnant. Your pregnancy is, you're 9 weeks pregnant, but your pregnancy is reading 9 to 11 weeks, because my children are always big. I always read 2 to 3 weeks ahead in my ultrasound. And so the doctor, the ER doctor, and my husband, you know, all the doctors, they were talking among themselves. And then they said, well, there is nothing we can do. They told my husband, they said, Dr. George, there's nothing we can do for your wife. We'll just keep her and watch over her. But this is a threatening miscarriage, you know, and the ultrasound is showing that her placenta ruptured. And my husband didn't know how to tell me this news. Her placenta has ruptured, so the baby is leaking, and it's going to leak out. And I lay in the hospital bed, and I cried. And I cried, and I asked God why. I didn't ask for this baby. This was a Valentine's Day baby. This was a surprise baby that we weren't even expecting. I said, God, I didn't ask for this baby, but you gave me this baby. So I'm going to leave this baby to your throne of grace. I don't know if it's a boy. I don't know if it's a girl. The doctors, there's nothing, there's no medicine, there's nothing. They say, madam, just lay in bed and let your baby just pass. And I cried, and I cried, and they said, go back home. So after in the evening, they discharged me, and my husband took me back home. I couldn't even tell my mom. I couldn't tell nobody. I just called my sister. It was just my sister, my husband, and me. I couldn't tell nobody. And I stayed in bed, and I cried, and I cried. And it's like whenever I will cry, I will have more gush. Whenever I will cry, I will have more gush. I said, God, I think I'm stressing myself too much, and the Spirit of God ministered to me. He said, my daughter Precious, listen and listen attentively. I want you to have rest. I don't want you to cry anymore. I don't want you to bother. I know there are times in life when you are going through hardship, and you complain, and you tell God, are you listening? Are you watching me go through this? How can you watch me go through this kind of pain? You know, but God says, relax. And you say, how can I relax when the whole world around me is falling apart? How can I relax? But the Spirit of God told me, relax. And I relaxed. And I went to call my mom, because my mother is a prayer warrior. But the Spirit of God said, no, don't call her. Because if you call her, she will keep calling you to check on you. And you don't need that extra pressure. Even though it's out of love and care, it might affect you. And whenever you're stressed out, you bleed the more. So I stayed in bed. My mother-in-law, God bless her, she tried. She came, she would cook. I had 2 children to take care of. She will cook, she will clean. She and my husband, they did everything for me. I stayed in bed. The next day, they said, okay, go and shower. I'll go in the shower to shower, and the blood again. I went back in bed. I was scared. I couldn't even finish cleaning my body. With the soap all over me, I dried myself. I went inside the bed, and I lay still. I couldn't move. I said, if I move, I will bleed. If I move, I will bleed. I lay like a log of wood. My baby was just 2 years old. My baby will come for me to carry him. I can't carry him. Then my 5-year-old will come. I can't hold my children. I can't even go to the toilet. I can't even go to pee. And whenever, because I have this threatening miscarriage, whenever I go to pee, and whenever I just pee, the blood again. And I will cry. And I say, oh my God, what is going on? But as God may have it, within a week, my daughter called me to check on me. I was getting better. I have stopped bleeding. They said, okay, have you miscarried? I said, no, I'm still waiting. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month. They say, okay, come into the hospital. We want to see you. So for 1 month, I was in the hospital. I was in the bed for 1 whole month. I couldn't do nothing. All I would do is shower, go back in bed. My food will be brought to me. After I finish eating, my husband will come and take the plate. My husband will go and wash the plate. If he's at work, my mother-in-law will come and do it. Both of them were waiting on me, taking care of me hand and feet. And then when I went back to the hospital, they took me to the hospital. They checked me. The ultrasound technician said, oh my God. And I turned and I looked at her. I said, oh my God, is it good or bad? She said, oh my God. I said, what are you saying, man? What's going on? She said, your placenta is healing itself. She said she has never seen this happen. That my placenta, the place that broke apart, that the baby was leaking from, is healing itself. And oh my God, there's a heartbeat. And oh my God, the baby is growing. We are seeing legs and hands, everything is beginning to form. And so far, it's like nothing happened. It's like nothing happened. Your womb, your baby, it doesn't look like what he has been through. And I cried. And she said, why are you crying? I said, I am crying because I am thanking God. And then when I went back home, they said, okay, you have to go back in bed again for another 1 month. I stayed in bed. For 2 months, I was cleared to go back to work. They say, if you go back to work, you have to sit, no lifting, no doing this and that. So my doctor gave me some rules. I went to my job. I spoke to my managers, and my managers understood. I bought a good stool. I would sit down, I would walk. I didn't do anything strenuous until 34 weeks. 34 weeks trimester, I finished working that day. I went home. So for my second baby, I always have sciatic nerve damage because my second baby was very big. So he really hurt me. He was 11 pounds 9 ounces. So when I went home, I was beginning to have contractions. And then with these contractions, I called my husband. I said, baby, see what's going on. My stomach will knot, and I would feel like pressure to like pushing or something. I was hurting all through the night. He said, let's watch it and see. I said, because he's the doctor. I said, okay, I have a doctor with me. So I relaxed. The next month, I said, baby, this is becoming too much. My husband took me back to the hospital. They said, you are contracted like you want to go into labor. But I was still 34 weeks pregnant. They admitted me. They said, okay, we'll give you something that will help you relax the baby. It doesn't always work, but maybe it will work. There's no harm in trying. They gave me some fluids and some medications, IV, and I stayed in the hospital till the next day for 24 hours. And they said, okay, the contractions came back down. The baby was calm, and I was cleared to go home. They said, but this time around, you're going back in bed. I said, oh my God. So I stayed in bed from that 34 weeks till 39 weeks. I was in bed again. No heavy lifting, no cooking, no cleaning, no nothing. I stayed in bed. At 39 weeks, I said, I have to do something now. I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to arrange my house. I'm about to have a baby. So I tried, I cooked, I did what I could do with my husband's help and my mother-in-law's help. We did everything. And I walked straight into the hospital. When I chose the day, they said, the doctor said, you're supposed to be due on the 31st on Halloween. I said, no, I don't want a Halloween baby. I don't want my baby to drag celebration with any American festival or holiday. So I chose 2nd of November. I said, okay, on 2nd of November, very early in the morning, my husband said, okay, can I take the children to school? I said, yeah, take them to school. He said, what about, no, my husband said, let's leave the children. No need of taking them to school. Let them stay home because today will be a busy day. And he was also on call in the hospital. I said, baby, it's okay. It's just regular. This is my third pregnancy. This is my 3rd delivery. It's okay. So he took them to school. But before he could get to the hospital, they had already operated on me because the school refused to take my son in. They said, you have to wait till 7 o'clock. While my operation was 7 o'clock at the dot. And if you know American time is American time, not African man time. Once they say 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock. Now they wheeled me into the theater, and I had my baby. But while I was having my baby, they always knew I had low blood pressure. After my second baby, I had low blood pressure. So my blood pressure was really down. But they said, you should be okay. I lost weight. I was determined to make this my healthiest pregnancy ever. I ate so much vegetable and salad. Even the chocolate, the sweet, I couldn't stand it. And that was God. And that's a video for another day. But they said I was healthy. Despite my history, I was strong I walked with my 2 legs into the delivery room. But I didn't know the devil had something else in store for me. And I tell people every day when I say, marry a husband or a wife of your destiny, there is a reason. Because I know that if I did not marry my husband, I won't be able to have children. If God did not bring him into my life to have this kind of medical attention I had, I will be those women that have 10, 15 miscarriages and no child to show for it. Because it happened that my womb, the way my womb was, I just couldn't have babies. I just couldn't keep babies. My babies were always low progesterone. My babies always keep leaking and leaking. But God brought my husband into my life. And these are one of the things that God saw in my future. And when I look back and I begin to understand the things that happen, life is like a puzzle. Things happen now, you don't understand it. But the bigger picture, God said that we will understand it later by and by. And right there on the C-section table, they had finished taking out my baby. The moment they brought the baby out, beautiful bouncing baby boy. And the doctor said, oh, congratulations. My baby was 10 pounds 4 ounces. Healthy, solid boy, solid like a rock. They were about to, I said, okay, I'm just going to do a tubal ligation because I can't have any more children. So me having more children is dangerous. So just tie my tubes. Let me make sure that, we are going to be grateful for the blessing that God has given us. And so the doctor said, okay. And after everything, while they took my baby, my husband came in and, kissed me and, say you're a strong woman. But while they were about to close me up, I didn't even know. Unexpected. I saw myself leaving. I saw myself like levitating all the way. It's like I was on a cloud and I was rising and rising. I saw myself leaving. I couldn't speak. I couldn't say nothing. I just lay there. And I said, the last thing that crossed my mind was, so this is how I go. And so the doctors, they heard the sound. Ping, 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 ping. I was crashing. I went into shock. I was crashing. The nurses, they were trying to clean up the place. All of them rushed to my side. The doctors, they were screaming my name. So the only thing the only thing I heard was, I know somebody, it's like somebody was trying to hold my hand and squeeze me real tight, like wake up. And then my daughter was calling my name, Precious, wake up, Precious, stay with us, Precious, stay with us, Precious, stay with us. It's the only thing I had was echo of Precious, stay with us. And I was like, and that was the last thing I saw. And I was just like, and I crashed. And they tried to bring me back. And when they were trying to bring me back, it was like I was in a dream, and I was like speaking to God. So this is how I go. And it's like somebody was saying to me in a trance, like, no, my daughter, you are going back. It is not your time. And then the next thing is like I landed all the way back on my body, like when somebody falls down. And I like opened my eyes and I looked at them like, what's going on? What's going on? And my doctor was like, you're okay, baby. You're okay. You're okay. My husband wasn't even there. My husband wasn't even there. He went with my baby to the nursery. And before I went into the hospital, before they tried to operate on me, I was crying. I said, God, my husband is not here. And all my babies, he's always there holding my hand. He's not here. I don't have anybody here with me. It's just me and the doctors and the nurses. I don't have anybody. And God said, your husband may not be here, but I'm here with you. God said, I am here with you. You're not alone. One with me is majority. So I just lay there. So I remember what God promised me before they had to operate on me. God said he was there with me, and he was there with me. And I opened my eyes and I was crying. And they had to go call my husband, and my husband rushed back in. And they were telling him, he didn't believe it. He said, oh my God, what just happened? I knew that in that moment, if I was in a hospital that wasn't prepared to handle my kind of case, I would have gone. The enemy would have laughed at the children of God. This is my story. When I had my second baby, I almost crashed, but they were prepared. They had oxygen in me. They had some medications to bring my blood pressure because I always suffer low blood pressure. So whenever I would crash, they would bring me back. They were prepared. They even told me what to expect. But with my third baby, they said you were healthy as a horse. There was no oxygen. There was nothing. So the devil sneaked in. But God was aware of what was going to happen. And I promised God that he has called me to teach. He has called me to inspire. He has called me to motivate. I didn't even know what a life coach was then. But I said, God, I will go and do your work. And I answered the calling. On November 2nd, 2018, I answered the calling. And I began to prepare, and I began to study, and I began to get ready for what God had for me. And then in February of 2020, when I felt like I was ready I opened a YouTube channel and I began to teach on YouTube and make videos, and just have fun and motivate and inspired. And then God said, okay, now take it to Facebook. I want you, there's so many souls I want you to reach. It took me time to get to where I am, but I am a living, walking, talking miracle. I am a testimony, and I am here to tell you today, no matter what you are going through, God He is ready. He is right there walking side by side. There are people in your life that God has positioned in your life to help you, and I want you to connect with them. And I want you to always know that you are not alone. No matter what you're going through, you are not alone. I am celebrating my 3rd year birthday today. Even the baby that is celebrating his 3 years is sick right now, I am believing that God will heal him. And I am hoping that I will be strong for him and for my family and for my precious people. And I just want to share today, because I don't know who this story is going to motivate. If you're looking for the fruit of the womb, I want you to keep hope alive, that God will bless you. And every woman that doesn't have a child, that God will bless them. Every woman that is hoping, that is praying for her baby right now in her womb, that God will bless you. That I am using myself as a point of contact to reach each and every woman seeking for a baby, that God will give you the fruit of your womb, and He will bless you in every way that you need help. Because childbirth is not easy, and every woman that has gone through childbirth, you know what I'm talking about. We will continue to pray for our sister women. Precious people, join me and celebrate my 3rd year anniversary, when God gave me a new lease on life. Hallelujah.